Welcome to the MFR Coaches podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hommel. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. I am joined today by one of my coaching clients, Abigail Southgate. Abigail is the owner of Natural Aspects of Health Myofascial Release, located in Medford, Oregon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, Abigail. How are you?
Hi, Heather. Thank you. I'm really good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Why don't we start by you sharing maybe how you got into myofascial release, like what was going on, what got you into this field to begin with?
Okay, so I had, for many, many years, an undiagnosed chronic pain pattern that showed up mysteriously, and it presented like a knife through the side of my head, which later I was able to get help and map it as nerve damage between my C2, C3 vertebrae. But that was like 6 years into this Western medicine model of me completely believing that I had no role in healing myself and that my body was bits and pieces all sort of held together by a sack of skin. And I mean, I even had my nerves burn but it wasn't until I had my first session with my myofascial release practitioner that my whole world changed, because I had shared my experience and everything I'd been through, and I was on pain machines and injections and medications. And then he asked me if I'd had abdominal surgery, and I literally thought he was nuts because everything was in my head. And I even remember looking at my watch, we wore them back then, and thinking, oh gosh, this is an 1.5-hour appointment. I got to get out of here. But then it did a side lying, and it made my head hurt, and nothing had ever been a trigger. So in that moment, my whole world really just changed, and I signed up. I was like, okay. And then he also handed me the yellow ball, which was the first time anybody had said that I could do anything to help me. And so I embarked on a 3-year journey of unwinding pretty much everything that you can do in an office. Yeah. And then after that period of time, I was like, gosh, if I could help people begin to get themselves out of their pain pattern and start to have these incredible lives, that would be the biggest gift I could do. So I went to the healing seminar, and then I went to the massage school that Donna had gone to. I found out about it there. And right away I got my license in Oregon, and then I just started taking classes. So I've been studying with John for like 15 years. I think we were in classes together.
Yeah, I think so too.
Launched my business and never really looked back, except for the reason that I ended up coaching with you, is that I seem to be incredibly good at building a business, but really fall short at building a business that I can maintain and that I didn't burn out and close. I've probably opened and closed 6 MFR businesses before I met you.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about that. I feel like I knew that, but also I didn't know that. So tell me a little bit about what was the pattern, or what were you recreating over and over again that caused you to open and close so many times?
I think that in the beginning, I worked with a business coach, and she was great, but it was all about generating clients. And so I got really good at my story and assessing and building a big client base. In fact, at one point I had two women working for me. I ended up creating my first business was 2 people working for me. I was treating about 30 hours a week. No, not 30, 20. But the rest of the time doing the laundry, the booking, the billing, the schedule, all of it for all of us. And at one point, I just remember being like, well, this isn't any fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of work. I'm running my business and then helping to run. Yeah, that's a lot.
And so over a few months, I mean, there were other things in my life, but I ended up closing that. I told all my clients and my people, and I gave them notice, and I just shut it and walked away. And then I started a business on the coast near my mother, and it started to get going again. And I could just feel that it's a felt sense in me now of like, I don't want to do this. And then I did it in the Grand, and then I came back here and I started again. And now I'm back in the Rogue Valley. I'm not going anywhere. And right before I started working with you, I was feeling that again in the business that I was creating. And it was like, my kids even say, be careful, Mom, you don't want to burn out.
Yeah. Do you think it's just this like success, I feel like is inevitable with you. You probably just have the idea, like if I build it, they'll come, like I can do this, no problem. But what is the feeling you get in your body that then makes you want to just light a match, shut the door and walk away? What's happening there?
I've thought about it a lot since working with you. And the overriding feeling is trapped. I feel like I've created a trap because I didn't know that I actually sort of like my health journey. I'm just getting this right now, that I actually was in charge of how the business looked and felt and expanded and contracted. Like I didn't have all I knew was that I could build. And then with this work, you get clients and they want a book, they want to refer, like
they want what you have.
Yeah. And there's not enough of me to do that. But then I feel obligated. I just felt trapped.
Okay. Was part of the problem that you'd have so many clients that you would work more hours than you wanted to do, just basically start to do things you didn't want to do, which trapped you even further.
Right. Like if I wasn't going to work on Thursdays, but then somebody needed to come in, I would open Thursday and pretty soon Thursday's full. And then, yes.
All of the things.
All of the things. Yeah.
One of my favorite things I think to coach on and to watch the turnaround in is to have someone come into coaching who's feeling overwhelmed and ready to burn out and have them transform their business into something that feels easy, doable, like that's exactly what they want. So would you say you came to coaching on the verge of burnout or like headed towards burnout or closing down again? Or like, where were you at in your journey when you found me?
But denying the fact that I was burning out because I can't really afford to burn out this time. So I was just not allowing myself to feel it, but I was pretty fried because you in the very beginning said a few thing that really challenged my belief system immediately. And that was
Tell me what that was.
the 90-minute sessions.
Oh yeah. Getting rid of getting down to like one offer. Yep.
And I had embedded myself that I had to less people. I wouldn't have to drum up as many clients, which is ridiculous because I'm good at that. But anyway, and that I had just decided that was my life raft. And you were like, yeah, no, you can do whatever you want, but you'll never make any money doing that. And I was
I mean, I don't know if I say it that roughly, but it is something along the lines like have one offer, one price point. And when you choose 90 minutes, which you're free to choose, you're just going to lose money.
No, I just scratched my head and I was like, okay, well, I signed up to work with this woman who I think is really cool. So, and then the other thing that you said was to evaluate your sessions, which I don't think I'd ever done. And the combination of those two things were the ignition for me to begin to get excited about changing. Because when I started looking at my sessions, we were so sloppy. So people would come in a little bit late. They'd need to go to the bathroom. We needed to hear about their granddaughter's graduation, whatever it was. And by the end, I realized I was probably only treating about 60 minutes anyway.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Because it was just all this other fluff. Yeah. And then by then I'm in your coaching. So every session hearing about it But the other piece that's really huge is, and it's what you offer us, is the price increase, because I'd had a friend who was doing coaching with you and she told me her price and my mouth dropped open and I was like, well, there's no way I would ever do that. But
I love it so much. I mean, this is not an uncommon response. I think most people who have never coached with me before, or when they first come and we do raising your rates or whatever, like the initial response is like, I'm literally going to die if I raise my rate, like $5 seems really intense. So I love that.
So the other thought in my mind was, well, what do I need to do to become? So my new rate immediately was going to be 150. So I went from 100 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, then what do I need to do to become a $150 hour therapist? And it was clear I needed to shorten my sessions. I needed to tighten up the time. I needed to have enough space so that I can show up fully. And immediately once I I gave everybody a month. And once I implemented it, everything began to just level up. Like I'm having more fun. My clients are like, wow, I thought it would feel shorter, but it doesn't. And they're starting to have deeper, really, like everything just leveled up.
I love that.
Yeah.
So did you notice, were some of your fears that like you would lose your clients or that basically you just burn your business down? But like what actually, did you lose a bunch of clients or what happened when you raised your rate $50?
I didn't lose any clients. No, I don't think I lost any clients. But what happened was because I went from the 90 to an hour, I had a lot more time that I could work. And I was not sure at all that I would get new clients.
Mm.
So I could kind of keep my people because they're enrolled and we're in, I'm good at all of that. Again, this is what's going on in your body and we need, it's going to take a year, that I all get. And I think it's from my healing journey with MFR.
Yeah.
So I put my big girl pants on and I felt like vomiting, but I asked them all for referrals. So
I love that. Yeah. You're like, I'm going to shorten your treatment time. I'm increasing the price by $50. And could you send me all your friends and family? That'd be great. Thank you very much.
and they did.
I love that. I love the share of that because so many people are probably listening to this thinking that this is for everybody but them. Did you ever think that? Like maybe you were listening to my podcast before you joined and thought, oh, this is just for other people?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, I was like, well, it was Deidre's, the first one I listened to. And I was well, yay for her. And I like have my calculator out and I'm trying to figure out how many clients she's treating and what she must be worth. I was like, well, yay for her. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But
like, that's really scary. Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. I love that. The calculator out.
But it's interesting because I really think that the price is the key and you're a genius, because the other thing that's happened for me is that I have also leveled up my sense of our profession.
Yeah.
Because I work with massage therapists, I work with reflexology people, there's all these things around there, but they are not myofascial release John Barnes trained therapists.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not really understood what we were offering in comparison to other things. And not that anything is less than or better, but yeah, I think it's just really letting us all step into what we're doing for our communities in a big way.
Right. And that's definitely something that I want for our entire profession. We are so lucky to get to do what we do and to be able to get the training that's available for us, right? It's life-changing for us and it's also life-changing for our patients. And we need to remember how specialized it is and how special and magical it is too. It's not like everything else that's being offered out there. And to see an MFR therapist that's not confident in the results that they can provide or not confident that they're good enough in what they do breaks my heart, because just by choosing to be an MFR therapist, it sets you apart from everybody else. And then also when you choose to be really good at what you do by going to seminars and learning and continuing to learn and never deciding that you know it all, I mean, the sky is the limit in the results that you can provide for your clients. And it's just so exciting about what you can create with your hands. and your time.
I love that. Yeah. It gives me goosebumps. It's really true. I mean, the work that we do is mind blowing, and it has always been a lifestyle for me.
Mm-hmm.
And people, when they quiet on the table and they drop in and they feel the space underneath my hands, probably all of our hands, it always feels like magic to me, because I feel like most people don't embody their bodies, and they are not even aware that they could have a curiosity about what's going on in their bodies. And that frequency hooking up with each other it's just really magical. And it's even more magical now that I don't feel like I have to run away.
Yeah. Like you have all the time, like you have plenty of time, plenty to do. Why don't you share with us kind of what's your schedule like nowadays? How many clients do you see a day? How many days do you work during the week?
So I have 4 days blocked off that I can work.
Mm-hmm.
My max is 16.
Mm-hmm.
I'm $150 an hour. But so I end up, it's probably different than most people. It's very playful, which makes me not feel trapped. And this is what you helped me get a sense that I could do. So I have all these extra spots in my calendar. I don't ever go over 16. And it's fine if I'm at like 12 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
But so then on Thursday, I'm not working at all. My daughter's graduating from veterinary school down in Davis. But I'm still working my 3 days, and I still have the money, the clients and the money incoming that I need. And it's just, I just can massage it in any way I want. So like when I get back next week, all my mornings are empty, except for one. And it's really different for me, because I used to feel like that calendar was the boss of me. And now I understand that I'm the boss of the calendar.
Yeah.
And so I can work a lot, and then I can have playful time. I'm just really enjoying it.
You don't feel trapped anymore in your schedule?
Not at all. No, not at all. I mean, the one thing I will say is that I didn't do the packages. I'm thinking about doing the packages, and I'm also probably going to raise my rate again in the fall, because I have so many people that I think it's a way to filter out.
Yeah. It's a way to attract your best fit.
Yeah. But just me saying these things, everybody, you need to hear, like, this is totally foreign for me.
Yeah. Like hearing yourself say this, you're like, I'm going to raise my rate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, but I have it planned for the fall, which isn't that far away. It's May 2023 right now. Like hearing yourself say those things, when you think of you previous, like a few months ago, what would she be saying about what you've created now and what your thoughts are, like what you're going to create in the future?
Probably just me, like, you're crazy. Or, well, I mean, I don't really roll that way. I think I would be like, well, when I went to the 150, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not ever going to raise my rates again.
This is my max.
Yeah, this is good. I feel totally comfortable here now, and I'm not ever going to change that. So I guess that's probably and then to be doing it again, it's a little bit like, really? You need to live on the edge? You need to like jump in again?
Yeah. I think once you do some of that expanding that you never thought was possible, and you survive it, and that you almost start to thrive off of the idea of like, what's next, or what do I want next, and what's possible for me? Whereas sometimes we keep ourselves small because we just never ask those questions.
Bingo. Yeah. I don't think I ever asked any of the questions that you brought to the table for me to ask and look at. I didn't have that. And I think the other thing is that when we have a really solid client base, when I did my rating, almost across the board, people were glad I was taking care of myself.
Yeah. I mean, they get the benefit of a therapist that takes care of herself. It benefits them.
And I think the transition, they all noticed that we were rocking it better in the treatment room when I wasn't in my cage, right?
Yeah, that's so fun. What are some of the things you can do now because you make more money and you work less hours? What are some of the fun things you're doing nowadays?
I have been working because I've been really enjoying it, and I'm actually putting money in my savings account, which feels good. I'm older and it's important. And then I have a couple of trips planned. My big trip is November, which is right around my rate increase. I hope to go to Africa. I want to go to Namibia and Botswana and South Africa for the month. And so
amazing.
Yeah. And then I have another trip in October, and I think I'm going to backpack. Like, for me, the idea that I can be thriving in my business and working hard and then go and have these fun things is just really exciting.
Well, and just even having the ability to plan something like that and know that it's happening no matter what, like you've set yourself up to be able to do that, is so cool.
Right. And it'll be paid for.
I was going to offer this to you. It's a little bit of coaching, so take it or leave it. But what would it be like if you challenged yourself to raise your rate sooner rather than later for new clients only, and allowed yourself to receive that extra income ahead of these trips so that you have even more of a budget to play with?
It would be like starting over with you.
I mean, but you have all the tools, right?
Yeah. It's great because I never even thought of that. It's so funny how our mind is.
Yeah. You don't have to wait. I mean, you can definitely like wait to raise the rates on your current clients, but like your new clients don't know anything about your rate. So why not?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. There's probably no reason why not to.
Yeah. I mean, just play with it. It's just, I just want to offer it to you because I don't want you to miss out on extra income if you have the wherewithal to make those choices and decide that you're all in on that. And if you don't, like, that's fine too. Like, it's totally fine either way, which is also like a fun thing in coaching. It's like, I can offer you these options and it's completely up to you whether you do it or not. Like, I still love you either way. So it's totally fine. It doesn't affect me.
Well, it's a really good thing to remember, to think about. Like, instead of you saying that makes me feel like, oh, I want to be all happy in my plateau and my little comfort, happy spot. But that almost is probably what makes me feel trapped after a while. So adding in the juice of some other thing. I was going to start to teach classes, but I don't really want to because I'm enjoying the treatment room so much now.
What is your thought about teaching the classes? Is it to generate extra income, or like, what's the reason behind doing that?
I love it.
Okay.
I mean,
well, that's enough reason, right?
Yeah.
But you just said, I don't actually want to do that because I like treating. So it's just so fun. It's so fascinating to see like what we tell ourselves we love. And then we're like, but I'm a hard pass on that, you know?
Yeah. But the part I don't love is the getting the people to come to my class.
Yeah.
Which is just a lot of, I mean, it's just a lot of networking, and I know how to do it. But right now my energy is way more joyful in the treatment room than putting out. Like, if I could have 10 people sign up for a class and I didn't have to do anything to get them there, that would be a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if you just make the offer and you give them long enough to sign up, then it becomes a no-brainer, right? It's just like, how do I make this simple? Well, it usually takes people 30 days to opt in. So I'm going to give 30 days notice, or however long it takes for your people. It's going to be different for everybody. And then you just see if people come.
Put it out there, and then it doesn't matter if they don't come, really.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to stop focusing on your business to do this extra class, but only if it's fun and feels luxurious.
Yeah, it is really fun to do the teaching. I love it. Yeah, that's another really good thing to think about. Like, maybe it doesn't have to be so hard to drum up the students and
right, because you already know you're good at, like, creating clients is not a problem for you. You actually don't really have there's no problems. I want to point that out too, how you can really have no problems that you're aware of in your business and still come to coaching and uncover things that just don't feel good to you, that we are doing over and over again, just based on some sort of thought error that you're having. Like, oh, this has to take a long time, or this is really hard, or no one's going to pay my rate, or I'm going to burn my business down. Like, all those thoughts, they're just thoughts. And then you pay me to look at your brain and tell you that they're just thoughts, right?
Which is awesome, because you have somebody looking in from the outside in, and it's a perspective we can't really ever get.
Yeah, we can't see our own thoughts. We just can't see them. I mean, there's work you can do, right, on purpose to uncover them, but it's not the same as having someone else Like, do you see this happening? Do you want to do something about this?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, when you came for coaching, how did you think it would be? And then how was the actual experience different from what you thought you were getting into, if it was?
I guess I thought it was actually better than I thought it was going to be for me, because the way you have it structured, like you planted the seeds and then they could germinate. And I didn't get a lot of direct coaching during our calls, but when you're coaching the other people, it's similar information and challenges and support and wins. And so I felt like for me, that was perfect, because I needed to sit with my transformation a little bit. And if it had been the one-on-one, it would have been probably a little too intense for me to just be like, push, push, push.
Yeah.
But then the ability to watch being with all the myofascial release therapists was really beautiful. And that helped me also get a sense of that we are a profession. And sharing people from it was just great. I mean, it was way more expansive than I thought it would be. And a lot of variety, because there were people that hadn't even opened offices yet. There were people that had been working for 20 years. There were people like me. There were people that, were just open, but not really sure what to do. It was just this really beautiful mix of like-minded people moving forward to create successful businesses.
Yeah. And everybody in the community wants you to win. Like, we're not in competition with each other, which is such a fun container to be in. You get to celebrate your successes. You get to brag about your income if you want to. You get to share these details that you can't really share at Sunday night dinner necessarily with your family, right? Maybe we don't share our financial information, but sharing, I think, in the group like that is really empowering and fun. And I don't know, what were your thoughts on like sharing monetary wins and sharing how like your business is being successful inside the group? Hey, everybody, I wanted to let you know that this is the last week to enroll as a founding member into the MFR Coaches 12-month Business Foundation program, where you'll create the foundation for your six-figure MFR business. That means you have just 5 days left to take advantage of this bonus offer. When you enroll as a founding member by June 30th, you will get these bonuses: my 350 plus page workbook printed and delivered to your door, instant access to the course portal with all of my digital trainings, materials, and coaching replay calls, a payment plan. This program is a $3,000 investment. When you enroll before June 30th, you get the option to make payments at no extra cost to you. Let me tell you a little bit about what you can expect in this program. Starting August 1st, we will have live coaching calls on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central. These calls will run weekly for the entire length of your 12-month program. Starting August 1st, you will be invited to join a private Facebook group with other MFR therapists who are on the same mission to create a six-figure MFR business without burning out. You will enjoy all of this for 12 entire months. You'll create changes in your business and get continued support as you grow and change personally and professionally. Show up to the live calls and get your questions answered and get coached through any dilemma or challenge that presents itself along the way. Get support in the Facebook group and be a part of one of the best communities ever. Use the course portal and listen to the replays from every other group I've ever had to help you speed through the problem you might be facing right now or in the future and move on to the next thing to tackle. There's zero confusion, zero drama, and zero bullshit. This is a one-time fee, 12 months of awesomeness. Join right now. You have until June 30th to take advantage of the bonus offers: the printed workbook sent to your home, instant access to the course portal ahead of the program's live coaching date, which is August 1st, and the payment option. After June 30th, you can still enroll anytime, but you will pay in full and you will not get any of the bonuses such as the workbook sent to your home. So decide you're in now. You spend a lot of money investing in your skill set. Now invest in your business and learn how to put that skill set to use. sell MFR, understand how to set your rates, talk to clients, and get them the results they want, and get fully booked too. Go to my website, www.themfrcoach.com/coaching right now to enroll. I'll see you there.
I really appreciated it because it gave a perspective that was real. And from what I could tell, while we were all with you, we were all moving forward in the direction that we wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome. I think that I'm just going to do an aside on that because there are a lot of MFR therapists in my valley. I think there's like 8 or 9 of them.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. And it's interesting because 4 or 5 of them started as my clients.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
I think that's right. But anyway, so I did my big thing with you and I shortened and raised and all of that. And then I had one of the longtime therapists book with me who I see, every once in a while. And I was like, I wonder what's going to happen with my rate. And then there was one comment, well, I can't come all the time. It's too expensive. But what I want to share with you is I felt like maybe I'm inspiring her to raise her rate. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel like I needed to offer her a better deal. And that was because of the coaching and being with everybody. And I just stood in my truth. And then the funny thing is the other day she emailed me and asked me how I did it.
That's amazing. I mean, I hope she'll get support and do it. Like any MFR therapist can go through coaching. I mean, you don't have to have a coach to make these changes, but why wouldn't you want to opt into one that knows what you're going through and, do this together and make it a fun experience instead of a nightmare?
Oh, totally. Because if you're doing it if I did it on my own, I would not have had a sense of clarity and knowing that it's okay. That sounds sort of little, but it's true. Like, is it really okay for me to do this? And then to be in community with you at the head of it, saying it's not only is it okay, it's essential, it's important.
It is. I mean, are you able to afford your own myofascial release because you charge what you charge? And are you willing to pay your rate anywhere you go for myofascial release or more?
More. Yeah. I mean, totally. I think I've always paid more than my rate.
Yeah. And I think I just like to point that out because if you're not willing to pay for myofascial release, it's really hard to expect your clients to want to pay you.
Yeah.
And I think for people listening, checking in and just being like, am I willing to pay for myofascial release? Like, how much do I pay a year for that? And the more you make that just the normal thing, then the more normal it is for you to sell myofascial release and receive money for that service. It just normalizes it in your nervous system, first of all. And second of all, in your bank account, it makes it normal for you to be making money and spending money on it too.
Right. That's a really good point because it's important to practice what we preach. And that's, getting regular treatment
and being a product of your product.
That's a really good point, Heather. Yeah, because I think I've paid more for myofascial release my whole 15 years of practicing than I've ever made before. And I missed that connection.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I'm bringing it home for you because I'm saying it more and more because what's fascinating is, okay, so I've been coaching myofascial release therapists since 2020. It's 2023 now. So just around the 3-year mark. And what is happening across the board with people that have gone through my program is they get a lot of treatment. They pay for a lot of treatment, regular treatment, which is increasing their skill level because they know what it feels like. They know how to be the client and they know how to help their clients be good clients. And then they're also going to so many more seminars. So they're really increasing their skill set too. And I think it's the combination of both getting the work as the client and then going to seminars as the therapist and really being a product of the product that they're selling makes a huge difference. Just like not only do I still go to seminars and I still get a ton of myofascial release, but as a coach, I'm a product of my product too. I invest heavily in coaching and I will always have a coach of some nature. Like right now I have a personal coach, a business coach, a money coach. I have so much coaching. But I feel like it's necessary in order to show up for the group where everybody's at different levels. Everybody's feeling something different, experiencing something different, is triggered by something else, right? To show up as not responsible for where everybody is and like where they're going to go, but just show up as the coach, really neutral and clean. And when we're therapists and we're not like afraid of the healing crisis, we're not afraid of them pushing back on our price. We're not living in fear. We're not treating from fear. You give a different treatment. You show up totally different as a product of your product. So just creates a whole nother level of confidence, I think.
I totally agree. And I think that the years that I was a patient first.
Yeah. So good. Such a good place to come from. I mean, I'm sorry that you went through that, first of all, but second of all, it makes you a totally different therapist.
Yeah. And I'm not even sorry anymore. Now I'm grateful because I don't know what my life would have been if I hadn't had it.
Exactly.
But it's almost, to me, it feels like, well, disservice is a judgment. But if somebody comes in and I don't share the possibilities that I feel like the two of us could have together and the commitment and the time, then I feel like I'm not doing one of the big pieces of my job.
Yeah.
Because I've got to hold space for them to think about maybe starting to trust. And that's super important.
Yeah. Because we have to really hold that belief ahead of time for both, not only for ourselves as a therapist, but for the results that the client can get until the client is totally bought in.
Right.
For as long as it takes, we have to hold that space.
And that's what you're really good at with the coaching. You hold that space for us while we're like, you're barf jar.
You bet I do, because I know what's possible. I mean, because I've just seen it over and over again. And I know it's possible for everybody when they can hear what I'm saying. Right. And sometimes it takes saying it a lot of times. And it's okay. I'm going to say it again and again.
It's like a mantra. It's like listening to John, I mean, I've taken all the classes multiple times and you sit and you listen and it's the same, but it's all new.
It's exactly. And there's a reason why he doesn't have to change his content. The content is the great stuff, right? And he just needs to teach it over and over again. And we learn it differently and deeper every time we recommit to taking the seminars and learning the information from a new space. So it's really a beautiful setup.
It is. And then it transfers to, I'm just going to say this too about your coaching. I'm bragging on your coaching, but to be with a coach who is MFR intelligent, like, well, how does that feel in your body? And so like just using the way we move through our lives as MFR therapists and then bringing that into our businesses is, to me, it was a very nice way to feel supported in my healing crisis.
Your business healing crisis.
My business healing crisis. Yeah. Because it just resonated. It makes sense,
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I mean, you can't take the MFR therapist out of me. You just can't. She shall not be removed.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that's why it works so well. And I also think that's why, I mean, I just can't imagine coaching a different group of people. And I've only ever wanted to coach MFR therapists. I mean, I could coach anyone on business is business, right? I could coach everybody, but this is just so much more fun. I was at dinner last night and I don't know why, but I checked my phone because I might be addicted to it. And I was reading in the current group and there was a post in there, someone's big win. And I just started crying at the dinner, we're out to dinner. I just started crying. My husband's like, what's going on? I'm like, I just love what I do. And my son's like, I can tell, but it's the truth. Like, I just love it so much. And I mean, I feel the same about giving MFR treatments, but I just love it so much. I love seeing MFR therapists really, really embrace their power and step into it and start behaving how they, start behaving in the way of using like empowering or embodying like all the gifts that they truly have, because too many people are downplaying it, are suffering, are not really embracing like what the magic is that they have in their hands. So,
right. Yeah. Play small.
Because it's just so practiced.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, in this time on the planet, we need to be big because
you need to be big.
people need we all need what John has taught us. And it's a way to help people begin to wake up and be aware and make choices in their life. It's like, this is not the time to play small, especially if you've been trained by John Barnes. It's like,
especially, yeah. It's like, be a part of the movement where no MFR therapist under earns or ever burns out. Like, let's be that movement. Like, I want my name on that work.
Yeah. That's a good bumper sticker.
Yes. Printing them out. No, just kidding.
Printing them now.
All right. Well, are you willing to share some of your numbers, maybe like your financial information from pre-coaching, and then how much money are you making these days?
Totally. Proudly. Before we started coaching, I was between 4,200, I guess, 4,500 and 53 sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working a lot. Yeah, a month.
How many hours do you think you would work to create that?
Okay, so here I worked. I saw 31 clients in October, $150, and I made $4,650.
This last October?
That was October. And then November, I worked my butt off. I saw 44 clients. What is that? That's a lot.
Is this the new numbers?
No, this is my old numbers.
Oh, okay. So 44 clients.
This is before we started. 160, I made 7,000, but that 44 times 1.5, that's 66 hours.
Okay. So $7,000, 66 hours. Was that like a really high month for you?
That was huge. Yeah. I don't even know what I was thinking when I did that. And I just looked at my numbers now, and that would have been almost 10 grand. And then now I'm seeing, so I saw 43 and I earned 6,450. And then in April I saw, but I'm only working the 56. So that's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I made 8,400. And then May is a long month, but we can just do this for grants. 56. That's the 4 weeks of May. No, sorry, 62. I'm making $9,300.
Okay, awesome.
And then the other thing that's important is that I'm fully booked in June and almost fully booked the first 2 weeks in July.
That's awesome.
So I think it's just energetic. When we're in the flow and we're rocking it and we're making money and we're happy, then people just come.
That's very true. Okay. So just to summarize this, so prior to coaching, in order to make like a $7,000 a month, you had to really work a lot of hours and work your ass off to create that. So now March, April, and May. March, you saw 43 clients. You made just under 6,500. April, you made 8,400, and May, 9,300. Like, it seems like it's just going up and up. So do you feel like your fully bookedness is more and more consistent now?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because when I switched my schedule, I did need to get more clients.
Mm-hmm.
I had more space, which honestly is more fun to have more clients.
It is. It is. There's a lot of people that will fight to the death, like for 90-minute sessions. And I'm just like, just pick a 90-minute session and pretty soon you're going to see what everybody else is doing and you're going to not like that anymore. We'll just change it when you get there, right? It's much better when it's your idea and you can really see the reasons behind it. If you love doing 90-minute sessions and making less money and being able to see less people, that's fine. Like, just pick that too. It's okay. So
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think where I'm at now is that I filled in the extra spots from switching my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm booking out. And so my goal is to sort of consistently make between, I can't remember exactly what it is, like 8,200 and 94. Great. And then that way I feel really happy to take a week off. I want to have everything paid for before I take the time off. And I'm almost there now.
Yeah. That's a kind of a great goal too. It's like, but planning ahead, like knowing that you have these trips coming up or knowing that you want to take X amount of weeks off during whatever months they are. And then deciding, okay, in order to do this, I'm going to make sure I've created my time off pay, right? My paid time off, like I'm creating it. And I want MFR therapists to understand that you too can have paid time off as a self-employed person. You just decide ahead of time what that looks like and how you create it. Is it a certain amount of money that you're putting into a fund? Is it like, as long as you're having 10K months, you can take a week off every 2 months, whatever it is, but you get to decide that and create it for yourself. And it's so fun because you're not asking for permission or waiting for someone to tell you you can do it. You just get to decide. It's very empowering.
Yeah, and what I'm feeling is it's making me more excited about working too, because I'm not. So for me to live and pay all my bills, I need about $5,200. And so that's about what I was doing.
Yeah, just enough to get by, which seems like a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like having more than enough now?
It feels so good. It just feels like, well, it's interesting because once we started coaching, I got hit by all these bills. My dog had to have surgery. I had to get new tires. I can't even remember them all. And I paid them all.
I love it. And you paid for coaching.
And I paid for coaching. And so I was like, I keep getting hit. But then one day I was like, but none of this is on credit.
Yeah. And life is always going to life, no matter how successful you are. Like, it's never stopping.
Yeah. I know. I had to get a crown. But it was really cool to be able to just cover everything and not have to get in a wad about it, And then now it seems to have all slacked off. So yeah, I'm working on getting my 3rd month of savings.
That's incredible. So you're already working towards having 3 months of savings.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I don't even know how that's possible. I must be frugal when when it's not gushing out. I guess at the end of July, I'll have 3 months. But yeah, it's exciting. It feels really good.
That's so fun. I love that. I hope you're celebrating that. And I'm looking forward to seeing pictures of these trips that you're going on. How fun. Please let me know how it goes.
I want to take seminars, but I've taken a lot of seminars. So now I just take them.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's time to play. And also you can work in a seminar budget as a line item, in your budget, right? But play is also very, very, very important. And taking the time to do it on purpose. We forget how to do it.
We do. We just get locked into this grind. I mean, it sounds trite, but it's really actually true.
Yeah. And if you're making all this money and the purpose isn't to spend it, what is the purpose? Right? Let's save it, but make sure it's saved for a purpose for spend out later.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we wrap this up, do you want to share anything else, any other opinions on coaching, whether or not you think people should join? And then will you also tell us where people can find you?
Yes. Well, obviously, I think everybody should join coaching. I think if we looked at my numbers, we could see that I paid for my coaching in March, the first month I implemented my new fee. So it's a bit of a pill to swallow, but it is such a good investment. It's just great.
I wonder what your return on investment will be 1 year from now because of the changes you've made. What will be the return on that investment that helped you make that decision to raise your rate and implement these things?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll figure that out and I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. It'll be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it will be 30. I don't know. It'll be huge.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on when I raise my rate again, right?
Yeah.
So I have a website now. I've never had one in 15 years, but Heather taught me to make a website. So it's naturalaspectsmfr.com. And it has a book now. And then just my phone number, which 541-324-6584. And I will say I run my business without a sign or a website and barely a card for all these years, but it feels good to have stuff in place that makes me $150 an hour therapist.
I love that. Okay. Just one more question before we go. What is it like to go from not having online booking for that whole entire time and no website to having that? How is that working out for you?
It hasn't really changed anything, but the only reason is that I'm working in a facility that has a website and online booking.
Okay.
And so I'm getting bookings through that. It's easier for people to find me through that.
So people do book online.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I do. I like it because, but I still call them and we check in and make sure we're a good fit and everything. But I think I've gotten like 5 or 6 people that I never would have even known about.
Yeah.
Before. And I do plan to activate my website more, like do the social media and get it out there and everything. It does just feel, I wasn't sure about the website and I struggled with it a lot. That was probably the hardest part about the coaching, but I did finally just launch it. And I have to say, it feels really solid and like there was a little hole in there that I didn't know was there. Because people always ask you for your website. And I was like, well, I don't have one.
Yeah. It makes it easier for clients to access you. And I think it's worth the annoyance and the like questioning whether or not you can do it or the confusion that comes up with designing a website. But I try to make it fun and easy for you, as easy as possible to implement. And really, I think it's just your thoughts that it's going to be hard or it's going to take a lot of time or it should be easier, right? It's all this crap that we have in our minds. Like, this should be easier. I shouldn't have to do this, whatever story we're telling ourselves. Like, when we can get that out of the way and just do the steps and push publish and allow it to be kind of terrible until we figure out how we want it to be, like just allowing it to be done instead of perfect it's a major feat to overcome.
It's a major feat because I had the blocks, like crazy blocks on totally simple solutions. And then the other thing that you offer is that little booklet, which I like. I edited it a ton and now I have it for the clients and they really like that.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
That's new too. I've put that on in the last few weeks actually, but all the things are great because it just helps tighten up what we're doing. And then we're feeling better about what we're offering. And that's the important piece.
I love it so much. Well, I've loved being your coach. Thank you so much for going through coaching. Thanks for sharing your story with everybody. I love all the little nooks and crannies of this interview, and the audience will like it too. So for everybody listening, just know that you can do these things too. It doesn't matter how far you are into your MFR business. It doesn't even matter if you don't think anything is going wrong. There is always something you can learn from coaching that will improve your business. If anything else, you will get a financial result out of it, but the feeling that you have inside and the confidence that you create for yourself is going to help you to help other people. So make sure you check out my website, www.themfrcoach.com, for more information. And I'll be back next week on another episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Abigail. Thanks for joining me today. My mission is to help every MFR therapist become a part of the movement where no MFR therapists ever under-earn or burn out. Join my 12-month coaching program. You'll spend the first 90 days setting up your foundation to create your 6-figure business. Then you'll go to work and uncover exactly what's holding you back from the business that you want and desire. Get support while you raise your rates, set your policies, and learn how to talk about MFR and how to sell MFR in service of your clients. Learn exactly how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town and even if you've had your business for years. This program is open to all MFR therapists who want to create what is possible when you stop playing small and start showing up in your full power as the John Barnes trained MFR therapist you are. Put your magic to work in the world and help more people get out of pain and back to active lifestyles. I'll help you do it. Go to www.themfrcoach.com/coaching and sign up right now.